and use this week as that test to see what the upcoming weeks are going to look like. I got Dr. Shirley Ferguson with me tonight. Now, where at in California are you? I know you're in the San Francisco area, right? Somewhere in that area?
Right. I'm in between San Francisco and Sacramento.
With me? Say that one more time. Between San Francisco and where?
Sacramento.
Okay, got it. All right, so everybody who is listening in for Dr. Shirley Ferguson, I'm making sure that all of you who may not be connected with me yet are about to be able to view on her page. So bear with us just a second here. All right, so I just tagged you in the post, Dr. Ferguson. So you should be able to share it to your page. So we're going to go ahead and just hop right in. As a lot of you guys may have noticed, the last couple of weeks, I've been really big on exposing people in the real estate space, individuals in the real estate space who have been in the space for a while. They've seen results, and they're part of the Black community. Now, I ain't got nothing against white folks, but I've seen so many of my cousins, so many of my peers coming up that look like me, but that really didn't have an example around them that showed them much more that they could do with their life than blue collar labor, working at department stores, restaurants, just your low level type of jobs. And I was blessed enough after I finished with my bachelor's degrees to move out of Mississippi. I moved out of Mississippi. I lived in Miami for a while. And while living there, I ran into a lot of people that had a lot of money. And so many of those individuals were all caught up in, like, this is mine. Like, you go figure out how to get it yourself. But then eventually I started to find people that they saw where my heart was and they wanted to put me on game. And that positioned me to start to identify more people like that. And that was 2013 that I really started to meet more and more people that were outside of my community, but looked like me, but really doing significant things throughout their community. And that was 2013. Here we are 7 years later. And I met you. Did I meet you this year or was it last year?
It was a couple of years ago when we were in Texas.
Yeah. So we've been knowing each other for a little while now. And if you guys follow her, there's some of you who are listening in, some of you who are watching who've been knowing her for a while. And you know she's a hoot. Like, she is so fun to be around, to listen to learn from. But at the same time, she's about her game. She's about her business. And that's the type of person that you want to connect yourself with, that person that's going to have the heart to want to communicate, to show you the way, but that's going to be serious when it comes time to get down to business.
Right.
That's what I really admire about you. So I'm going to stop talking. I want you to share with our people give us a little bit on your background, your professional life. Like, what did life look like for little Shirley Ferguson, or was it Shirley Haney back in the day before you got married? So little Shirley Haney coming out of high school, what was on your mind going into adulthood, and how has that gotten you to where you are today?
Okay, so coming out of high school, I actually went to cosmetology school. So I've been having my cosmetology license for over 30 some odd years. Actually about 36, 37 years or more. Telling my age. And then after that, I just started like being around my grandfather, and he lived in Merced area, California. And we used to always go down there and hang out with them. And my grandfather was a person who was involved in real estate. And so by me being around him, he started giving me a little information and a little knowledge. And I saw what it can actually do as far as financially for, for us. And so as time went on, I ended up getting involved into real estate. And so I've been in real estate for a few years, a lot of years, a lot of years. And then after that, I ended up, I was still doing real estate and I became a pastor. So I started pastoring a church and then I'm still into real estate. Real estate is like the best thing that I ever done. I mean, I did, cosmetology. I had a salon and all that stuff, but real estate is where my heart is, besides, of course, ministry. But real estate is where it's at. And that's where my bread and butter has been coming from for a long time. So.
I love it. I love it. Now, when I first met this lady, guys, I remember she had on her fitness get up. She was, out there doing her thing, being a true pure out entrepreneur. And that's all that I knew about her. Like, I knew that about her when I saw her. That's what she was presenting herself as at that specific time. But as I got to know her more, you do that too? You in the church like that too? Like, you are doing it across so many different areas. And a lot of people would throw the whole jack of all trades, expert of none, but you have high expertise in pretty much all of those areas. Now, we're talking about real estate today. So let's rewind to like the very beginning of your real estate time. Now, you said you got in it because of being exposed to it by your grandfather. So when you decided, you know what, I'm going to actually dive into this space, what was that process like for you? Were you working a full-time job? Were you trying to figure it out and you kind of tiptoed in and you dive right in? What did that beginning process look like?
So the beginning process was after me and my husband were married. My sister's husband was a real estate broker. And so we all got involved in the real estate arena. And that's when I picked up my real estate license. But actually, I really didn't want to be an agent, even though I did do it. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And so we started looking for property and we purchased our first property in Oakland, California, my husband and I, and my sister and her husband. We all did like a JV, which is a joint venture. And it was 2 houses on a lot. And we did that for a while. And then finally, we bought my sister and my brother-in-law out. And so it was just my husband's and myself. And from there, we just kept buying property. Like, I mean, it seemed like it was like every couple of months we were looking and buying. And so that's where it all started, from Oakland, California. And from there, we went to Fairfield, California. We did San Francisco. We did Texas. We did Sacramento. So we've been purchasing property like all over. And it started just from my grandfather and wanting to do something different. I was working, my husband was working. And actually, when we first got the first 2 houses on that lot, my husband and I started remodeling and learning how to rehab a place. And we had a friend that was in the Oakland area and he was a contractor. And so he started showing us how to do it. And so once we started learning, my husband very savvy with his hands. So he picked it up and I was just doing certain parts that I can do. And so we learned how to remodel kitchens. We learned how to remodel bathrooms. The only thing we didn't learn was laying carpet, but we knew how to lay floors, linoleum, hardwood, and tile. And so we just became, and it was funny because we had my son used to come with us. He was in a stroller and we would take him to these places. Now, mind you, we were working full time, both of us working full time. After work, we would go home, eat, jump in the car, drive to the places that we were rehabbing, be there till like 1, 2 in the morning. My son would be sleeping in his stroller and then we would come home and do it all over again. And looking back at it now, it's crazy because right now in these times, it seems like you never have no time. But we did. When you want to accomplish something, you have to give it your all. You have to, put aside sleep sometime. You have to put aside a whole lot of other things that is not going to actually help you get to that place. And you can't be a lazy person. You have to be a motivated person. You have to put your all into it. And once you get to that place of seeing that you can do it, and then you have to know what your why is, right? You got to know why you're doing it. And if you don't know what your why is, it's kind of like, what's the point of doing it? And then you want to have generational wealth. I mean, you want to leave something for your children or your children's children, and you want to just have a legacy of generational wealth for the family, and not have to worry about a whole lot of things. And what I mean by that is not being so concerned with chasing money, because I'm not a money chaser at all. I don't chase any money, because when you chase it, it keeps running.
If you do the right thing, it chase you.
Yeah. So when you get involved and you get around the right type of people and the mindsets of people, it actually is drawn to you. And so even like when I met you in Texas, but then later on we reconnected, and we used to talk seemed like almost every night. But it was good because there was knowledge that you had to offer, and there was knowledge that I had to offer. Nobody's trying to compete against each other. Nobody's trying to pull each other down. We're all here to really encourage and motivate people, because really it's the access to it is available for you. It's here. It's just you have to connect with the right people, with the right mindset. Because the mindset, I'm telling you, is very, very important to have a mindset.
Man, all right, I'm gonna call time out because you just dropped some things, man. Because the first thing that made me like that right there was when you said you created joint ventures with your family. Now, so many of us in our community, we ain't trying to do nothing with our family, because it's the whole crowd. I mean, as cliche as it is, the whole crab in the bucket mentality is strong, and it's so sad because we need to support one another. That's
Right.
how we continue to get ahead more and more. You mentioned joint ventures. So many of us, we get a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of expertise, and we feel like we that guy, we're that shit, and can't nobody tell me nothing. Like
Right.
I don't know. Like, do you know who you got to drop that. We've got to drop that. And for you to create a joint venture with your family, like that just goes to show the knowledge as far as it comes to creating generational wealth that had to be in the workings in you guys' minds from the jump, because okay, we got to do this together so that we can build this and leave this legacy for the family. And that's something that we don't see enough of today. You and I both, we have a mentor that he'll even tell us sometimes he's got siblings that don't want to listen to him, and he's
Right.
doing the dang thing, but his siblings, like, they don't want to listen.
Right.
And I remember I told him about a lot of the accomplishments that I had bestowed upon me over the last couple of years, but how my siblings, they still don't listen. And he's
Right.
like, you may have done those things, but they don't see it. And a lot of times, and this is something that he mentioned as well, that people listen to you as far as what you're presenting to them based off of what they see. So
Right.
I'm looking behind you right now, and I see a nice house. So whoever is watching this, listen to her, because look at what you see. Look at what you see. The proof is in the pudding. And it's not even all about where you stay. It's not even all about what you're in, because what you find all too often, and I'm sure you've seen this as well, so many people never actually accumulate wealth because they are so much concentrated on trying to look like they have wealth.
Right.
So literally,
Right.
they and this is something that I see down here in the South. You'll have someone, tax season rolls around, got a nice little income tax check back, go and buy an old school Chevy, put some 25-inch rims on it, a brand
Right.
new job, and then go pull up to a mobile home with no skirt on it, the door falling off the hinge. Like, it's sad that we feel that we need external validation.
Right.
So keeping that
Can
in mind.
let me touch on that right quick. So what you just said is so true because I see it all the time. And what happens is we get so caught up in trying to look the part and not realizing that a lot of your millionaires they drive regular cars. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having a nice car at all, but they drive regular cars. But the thing that they do is they invest, right? They invest, they take trips, they do all this stuff. But when you're trying to look like you have money, people that have money know what you really look, what you look like, right? But you don't know it. And we get so caught up in trying to appear as if we have money. That's not really what wealth is. And I'll tell you another thing about wealth. If you know anybody that is a multimillionaire or a millionaire, they don't run after trying to have a lavish house. What they do is they rent, right? They rent nice houses, and they don't own the houses that they live in. And there's nothing wrong with owning your own house or anything like that. But what they do is they buy a lot of investment property, and the investment properties take care of their rent that they're living in this house that they're renting, but they have an option to leave at any time. So the way that millionaires think is different than the regular Joe thinks, right? Just like you said, you get your little income tax and then you go get some car and stuff. And it's like, okay, but why not do investments? Invest in either it could be real estate, stock, whatever your preference, but really invest that. Because if you don't do that, time is going to fly past and you're going to look in behind you and in the bank and find out that there's nothing there. You don't have anything to offer your children, or even like you said about your brothers or sisters or whatever. They family is just different. Friends are different. Because even with my my family that we invested with in the first time, we had to buy them out because they weren't cooperating and doing certain things. But we did do that to get ahead, and we can't be a people, which I know some are, where we are always downgrading and downplaying, and instead of like with you, your family, your brothers and sisters should be looking at you as like, man, this man is really rocking, And what happens, a lot of people, they look for the material things too, but there are a lot of millionaires who don't have like these humongous houses and stuff like that they live in, because that's not their concern at
Exactly.
all.
That's real. Now, you mentioned your why earlier. Like, you got to have
Right.
a lot of us in the entrepreneurial space, we hear that thrown out, and a lot of people use it just to motivate people. Have a why that makes you cry, but you got to get serious with it. Like,
Right.
you got to really, like, I was given a training. What's today? This is Wednesday. Yeah, last night I was given a training session, and I made them listen to this video by a speaker by the name of Eric Thomas, and it's called Personal Freedom by Eric Thomas. Look it up on YouTube. It's a great watch. But he talks about how he was working a job, and it was that time of the year for his daughter to have awards day, and he asked to to have off to go to her awards day to see her get her recognition and everything, and his boss said no, and he was like, "What?"
Right.
And he said, "You know what? That's exactly what he needed to turn that fire on, because this is someone telling him that he can't spend that time with his daughter.
Right.
Like, you can't get that back. When these
Right.
kids are at certain ages, these experiences are like once in a lifetime. They're going to remember forever. Daddy wasn't there. Kindergarten, first, daddy wasn't there. So he said that was all he needed to say, boom, I'm done with this. I'm going to go and you have to have something that forces you out. And I remember me specifically, I was 2 years, and I talked about this last night in my class, 2 years straight, 2017, August till May of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much 5 days a week, I was at LSU, away from my family. My daughter was young, so it affected her more so than my more so than my son. And I remember I would come home and she jumped, grabbed, loving up on daddy. But as soon as I would go to the door to grab my keys, just to grab something out the vehicle, daddy, no, don't go to your faraway school. And she started crying, thinking I'm about to leave again. So if you just look at on average 5 days a week for 2 years, let's
Right.
say I was only home on the weekends pretty much from Friday night to Sunday night. So that's 2 days per week. We'll say there's 4 weeks in a month. That's 8 days in a whole month that she got to see you. Let's say 8 days times 12 months. That's 72 days out of 365 days that my daughter got to see me. On average, 72 out of 365 days. It hurt so bad for me to be gone. And I made sure that I told myself 2.5 hour trip before I would get to my school. I got to make the best of this. I got to make the best of this. I can't wait this time. I got to make the best of this. So I'm looking at the fact you pull your little one in there in the stroller and you guys figuring out how to do everything yourself, learning all the different aspects of the game. And it's so easy for us to try and be that big professional and let me spend all this money hiring somebody because I'm that guy when you really need to figure out how to do it yourself until you get to where you can hire.
Right.
I'm so glad that you mentioned all that. Now, what are some of the things? We'll make a little transition. What are some of the things that you do now to help other individuals who may have interest to get into the real estate space? Because I know, I mean, you got 30 plus years in the game. There's got to be something that you can put other people on with. What are your focuses when it comes to helping others in the real estate space?
Well, first of all, we created a space for people to learn about real estate because most people think that they have to have a real estate license to do all this, and you don't need that. Just getting the information. And so I have classes, I mentor and I coach, and I do one-on-one coaching to help people to know the logistics of how to get started in real estate, which I think is very, very, very important. And one of my courses, the first courses that I have is regarding the mindset, because you really have to have a mindset when it comes to real estate, because everything is not going to always be peachy cream and everything is not going to always work. Just recently, we put in a bid for a property, and the owner she lived there from the beginning, and she accepted our offer, and I guess she really didn't want to depart from her home, so she started making all these excuses and stuff, and so we had to back out, and so that was like money lost. But it's just a place I just want to be able to help people to see that even if it's not just real estate, it's just that you can do more than what you're doing. And I don't knock people that have a job, because a job will help you in the beginning, because you can have income. Because if you just straight out just jump out there and start wanting to be an entrepreneur, you got to really get busy and have something to offer. But at least if you had a job, you can at least work your way into entrepreneurship. And so that's what I do. I teach my classes. I have one-on-one coaching, and then of course the modules, because some people don't want to have that connection. They just like to learn through modules, just reading and getting the information. And so that's what I do right now. Now also, we're starting a investment group, which is awesome because some people don't want to actually be involved in the real estate arena. They just want to invest their money. So that's what we're doing also. And that's called Prosperity Kingdom Life, PKL, that's what we call it. And so just teaching, that's it. Teaching people, getting people to not be scared, to jump out there and just do it. Because if you don't ever just take the chance, I mean, you're going to lose some, you're going to win some. And that's just in life in general, right? You get a job, you might lose your job, and then you get another job, you might like it. Or you put out a product, nobody buys it, right? And then you put out another product, boom. And that's how, I mean, you have to get started. If you don't start, you never will start. And you won't have anything to even share with anybody, because and I'm going to tell you, fear will keep people will keep you from jumping out there and just taking a step to do it. And that's what we call faith. You just step out there and just do it.
That's it. You know, so many people are motivated by the fear of not having anything. More
Right.
so having the faith that, okay, maybe I don't see it right now, but I'm gonna do what's necessary. I know it's possible because what one woman has done, another man, another woman can. But it's about making that decision, getting committed, and connecting yourself with the right people. And
Right.
you continue to go back to mindset, and that, like, so many people don't realize. I really don't care how ambitious you are. I don't care how passionate you are. I don't care how faithful you are that I'm going to accomplish. If your mind ain't in the right place, you ain't about to accomplish nothing. Nothing. There's
That's right. You're right.
because there's a coaching program that you and I met through where there's so many people that come in and they see
Right.
other people doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna kill the game. But they're still stuck in an old mindset. When it
Right.
gets tough, I don't know, I gotta go and get this money. Let me go back and go apply for this job over here. Let it hurt a little bit. Let it hurt a little bit. But you
Yeah.
got to be able to have the faith that it can be yours. David Brown
Yeah.
says faith over fear. That's so real. Because
Right.
man, there's an acronym. Plenty of you probably have heard it before. Jason, man, let's talk, man. We'll definitely, because you doing the things that are necessary to position you to be able to get in the real estate space, man. This is a guy I played football with, Jason Fairley. Played football with him in high school. And the guy, his mindset when it comes to football, if he just take that and apply it to the real
Right.
space, would slay. I'm telling you, he was. We call him head. No, that was his cousin called Headbuster. We call him Mule because he would just run over you like a mule.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
You know, there's an acronym that people use: false expectations appearing real, false evidence appearing real,
right.
and fear, just as that which you have faith that will be yours. Neither of
Right.
them actually exist. But which one of those wolves are you going to feed? Are you going to feed your faith that this can be, or are you going to feed
Right.
the fear and assume that it won't be?
Right.
So I'm just so glad that I was able to meet someone like you that not only are you filled with the spirit, which helps your faith, but at the
Right.
same time, you got your business. And like some of the communication that we've had throughout our relationship, it has helped me improve certain things about me, about myself in the entrepreneurial space because I see
Right.
how you carry yourself. And it's all
Right.
about getting around the right people, guys. You got to get around the right
That's
people.
that's the main thing right there. You have to be. I always talk about dirty birds, right? If you're around dirty birds, which are like pigeons and all that stuff, they don't really fly high. The eagle flies super high, and the eagle does not mingle with the pigeons. And so sometimes you do have to separate yourself. And it's not that you're trying to be mean, but it's just that you're trying to get to a different place in your life. And in order to get to a different place in your life, you have to surround yourself around different mindset of people that want to get ahead or do greater things in life. When you were talking, I was thinking about when you said about the fear. One time, me and my husband, we did this transaction, and we lost $250,000.
All right, stop.
Like,
Pause. Listen, guys, they lost on a transaction $250,000. Now, listen, a lot of y'all, especially down here in the South, especially who may feel like, you know what, I'm a little person, I'm trying to come up in the game. That figure may intimidate you. But until you get around people who can lose $250,000 and they're not wiped out, until you get around that type of person on a regular basis, you will never grow to develop that mindset to position yourself to one day be one of those types of people. I'm
right.
telling you what it takes. All right, go ahead.
So basically, you have to see yourself before you see yourself. So you have to see yourself doing it before you actually are actually doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So you have to do that. But we lost 250,000, and we both had to laugh. We didn't get mad at each other because it was like, what in the world? But see, if we weren't in that right mindset, I probably would have tried to kill him. He probably would have tried to kill me, or something, break up, divorce, and all that kind of stuff. But we just laughed about it, called it a day. Okay, let's keep it pushing. And like I said, you're gonna deal with things. I mean, this is just life, right? And you have to learn how to. If one thing doesn't work, you can still keep going. Something else is gonna work. But if you keep going to and letting things just stop you, you're never gonna go past. You're going to keep stopping at the door, stopping at the door, stopping at the door, when the door is actually there for you to open. But like you said, you have to get around the right type of people. I'm telling you that your mindset is really the main thing that you need to get in order first before you can actually start doing things. Because any type of fear, and if you have people that are very negative around you, they mess you up. They'll tell you can't do that. Because I had older family members was telling me, you don't want to do that. Why would you do that? You don't. And I'm like, I'm doing it because I want to do it. And and if I had listened to them the way that they were talking, all that negative stuff, I would never be in the position where I am now. And so you have to be around positive people, people that will push you, encourage you, stir you, let you know that you're capable, and not look at us as if we're the only ones. Man, it's a whole bunch of other people. But it's like you said, just getting around the right people that will actually pull the best out of you, because all of us have something good on the inside of us. All of us, every last person, whoever's listening, everyone has it. Everyone has the ability to be great. Everyone. But it like the Bible talks about, I'm sorry, but like the Bible talks about, the poor will be with you always, right? That means that it's not saying that it's poor people, because some poor people don't want nothing else, and then you have people that want to accomplish and have goals, but there's always going to be some that's there that necessarily don't have to be you. And it's not you unless you make it you.
Man,
so you have to learn how to get forward.
That is so real. And, it makes me think, and I want people to look up this. There's a song by Slim Thug out of the Houston area, Slim Thug and Joel Osteen. It's like a little mashup, but it's talking about getting around the right people, because the right people are what's going to pull the best out of you. And it makes me think about, if you have a seed and this seed is meant to bear a beautiful, large, fruitful plant, but you put it on some concrete, throw some sand on top of it, it ain't gonna do nothing. It ain't gonna do nothing. Like, we hanging around too much sand. Like, get away from the sand. I know the beach is pretty, but you better go to a field with some cows and get under some good fertile. Like, you gotta get around the right people. So you put that seed in moist, fertile ground, and you take care of. You don't let anything bang on it. You nurture. That's you putting yourself with the right people, around the right people. You're nurturing your brain.
Right.
And your brain, you mentioned mindset. There's certain people whose mind is set to be a certain way. Right. There's people who are in poverty and their mind is set to accept the situations that they're in. But then there's people like yourself that you grew up seeing that there could be more. Your grandfather showed you examples of what could be more. Many may not have had those examples. So their mind is set in a certain space, but all they have to do is get around the right people, start taking in the right information, consistently listening, asking questions, putting together a plan. Let me try it out. Fail, like make mistakes, lose $250,000, lose $250,000, but then realize, you know what? It ain't the end of the world. I know it don't work. I know one way to lose $250,000, so I won't do that again. And that's the thing. So many people are afraid to make the mistakes from external judgment. They're going to think that I'm not. Like, stop worrying. Who is they? And what do they matter?
That's what I always say. Who are they? And who cares who they are in the first place? Because we're not here to be, we should not let other people and what they think and my saying is getting free from people's opinions, right? Because that's what's going to unlock your full potential. Because when you start listening to other people, they limit you. And when you're around people that are like-minded and say you're new to it, You got to be okay with being stretched, right? That's how you learn, when you get stretched. So it's uncomfortable, but you know what? How else are you going to be able to grow, right? It's just like us when we were little, we were babies, and then I don't know if you had it, but I had stretch pains. You know, my leg would hurt, and I didn't know why, but it was because I was growing. And so it's the same thing with us growing in our minds. We have to be stretched and be okay, and don't get defensive, and don't get, you know, because some people get upset because you might be asking them something that they don't understand. And it's all a part of learning. We all have to learn to get past a whole lot of stuff. And I'm just glad that God has connected me with a lot of people, and a lot of people that I had to drop a whole lot of people because they weren't on the same road as me. And it wasn't that I was trying to be mean or anything, but when it's time for you to move up, some have to drop off, right? It's just like when a turtle grows, the shell starts to come off because he has to grow. And if you're always in this little cubby hole, you're scared to come out because you're afraid what's going to happen. Well, you'll never know until you get to that place. And even when I connected with you and Chris and all of them, it was awesome because everyone was different, but everyone was a part that was helping each other. And even if it was something that you didn't know, it wasn't like they were pointing the finger, oh, you stupid, you don't know. But no, they were just helping you to get an understanding. And that's why it's so important about your mindset, because once you have that mindset, and even if a person tried to make you feel bad, you have to get free from that. Let the people say whatever they want to say. I'm trying to get to this million. I'm trying to get to this 2 million. And you have to have those blinders on like a horse so you can stay looking forward, not looking at everybody else, you know? And we can get so caught up, Brian, in social media, and we feel like we're not accomplishing because other people are on there showing money or showing this and showing that, and not really realizing that a lot of people not really doing nothing. And so we don't want to get caught up in that, right? And so when you get around real people, you'll know if they're real or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
because the proof will be in the pudding.
That's real. That's so real. And you know, you're talking about stretching and allowing yourself to grow. Think about, and this is for my guys out there, my guys who your mind might not be in the right place. If you were an athlete and you lifted weight, when you maxed out that 185, did you keep pumping 185? No, you put more weight on there.
Right.
You intentionally add more to tear yourself down more so that you can grow stronger. This is the same way. And it actually grows by you putting yourself around the right people, reading the right type of content, listening to the right type of content. And there's just so much that people allow themselves to be held back from being able to accomplish because they're stuck on who they were. They're stuck on keeping a certain reputation. If you're not anywhere near where you ultimately want to get, shed that, stop worrying about that reputation and build a new one. And you might lose friends. I'm telling you, when I left Mississippi to go to Miami, I left so many friends behind. I loved them. And they said in this song by Slim Thug and Joel Osteen, not everybody is meant to share in your blessing. Like, you got to go and get your own blessing, and then you can be selfish just long enough to position yourself to be able to come back. Look, here, this is how I made it. X, Y, and Z. You can do the same thing. I can help you do the same thing. But the sad part is they want it easy. They don't want to have to go through the work. They got the social media syndrome. I want it like this. I want the instant gratification. If I can't say, okay, I'm going to sign up for this real estate course, and I don't get people saying, good job, great real estate course, and the results don't come automatically, man, it don't work, man. Like, it's a scam. You got to work. You the one that don't work. And that's I remember when I came back to Mississippi, I really polished myself as a professional down in Miami, and my self-confidence just like went through the roof. And I try to pour that into my cohort members, my peers. I try to pour that into them when I came back to school. And I was just empty, like every day, because they wasn't feeling that, because they had that mindset. And I say, you know what? I'm going to shut up talking. I'm just going to do. And
Yep.
at the time, that's what we have to do. Those people, they're
Right.
not going to want to hear it. They might not want to be around you no more. Let them go, and you go and become, and then they're going to start coming around you even more.
Right.
Learn to figure it out. So, yes, well, we can go all night. You already know. But I don't want to keep you, and we're definitely going to have to do this again. But before we go, tell people where they can find you. Any plugs that you got to drive some people to where it is that they can actually be blessed by what you have to offer.
Okay. My website, ShirleyHFerguson.com. It's www.Shirley, SHIRLEY, and then H and Ferguson, FERGUSON.com. And you join my mailing list so you can get newsletters. And also you can book a 10-minute call, a free call with me, so we could kind of go over or discuss the things that you might want to accomplish if you want to get involved with investing in real estate. There's so many different avenues in real estate. It's just not you purchasing and holding a house. It's a whole, we'll have to do another live on that one, but it's a whole lot more. But you could go there and you can reach out to me. You can even email me at Shirleyferguson@gmail.com. My phone number, everybody has my phone number, 707-624-5343. And I'll be here to help in any way that I can, because I like to see greatness in people and for people to accomplish the things in their desires.
Guys, like I'm telling y'all, this lady is from the other. I've never been in California yet, but like I'll be on the phone with her. She's sitting in her car and it's all hot. I feel like I'm over there in the passenger seat dealing with that heat with her. Guys, like this is real people. This is good people. You always want to surround yourself with people that see the best in you and that want to see even more of the best in you and help you bring that best out. And I've been seeing here in the chat, it's been exploding with support for her. And that happens for good people. Now, for those of you, like I said at the top of the hour, I'm about showing individuals who are in the Black community that are doing the dang thing. And I'm just so thankful that you have been blessed to have what you have, to accomplish what you've accomplished. And there's just so many young men and women. And I'm going to make sure my sister sees this. My sisters, so many young men and women that need to understand that if you only get outside of your little bubble, get outside of your little bubble and meet somebody new. Like if you need me to make the introduction, I will, but meet somebody new and you can become your own version of your own version of your own version of a Dr. Ferguson. Be Dr. Ferguson, be you, but all the inspiration from elsewhere and motivate yourself from that why that she mentioned earlier. So on that note, we're gonna do it again another day, probably sometime later this month or early next month. But thank you for your time.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And happy birthday. Happy birthday again.
Yes,
you look good for 20. Look, you look good for 25.
I do something. And your birthday was not too long ago, and you're not doing too bad for 32 yourself. So
thank you.
Right now. Well, you have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much. All right.
Be in touch. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys, man, Dr. Shirley Ferguson, she be doing it, guys. Like she just got the spirit. Thank you, Tamala. She's just got the spirit. And you got to put yourself around people that want to see the best in you, guys. And there's a song like something about the best in you. Making me want to get on my gospel music now. But this is what I want for everybody. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Jose. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it. But you got to put yourself around people like Dr. Shirley Ferguson. She got skills on top of skills on top of skills. This woman has experience galore. And it's a blessing to be surrounded by people like her. But this is what I'm going to leave you with. I put out a video about a year and a half ago. I gave some nice information. And then towards the end, I mentioned that all this that I just shared with you is irrelevant. So all of what you just heard is irrelevant unless you take action. You hear all the time, knowledge is power. If you're not doing anything with that knowledge, you're not going to be exerting too much power. So go to www.shirleyhferguson.com. Get some more knowledge. Let's get some property, guys. When it comes to the Black community, there's not enough of us that are investors in the real estate space. There's not enough of us that's owning land, that's owning properties. There's not enough of us. And you got to realize that there's so many in the top 1%, or there's so few in that top 1%. And most of those few invested in real estate, but they only take up a small percentage of the pie. And that's because we're not taking our cut, guys. We got to take our cut. We got to get our piece of the pie. So off that note, I'm going to hop off. Yes, she will, Tamala. She will push you. I'm gonna hop off, guys, and I gotta get some water. I'm all fueled up now, and get back to work. And we'll see you guys next time. Real quick, tomorrow, the Black Podcasts. We have our live show tomorrow. A gentleman, very well-renowned gentleman. I want to say he lives in. I'm drawing a blank. I want to say he lives in California. He's an artist. He's a Black father. We're supporting and promoting Black fathers this month. And you guys gonna see. Scroll down my page a little bit. I've got a post about him. I'll probably do a live here shortly, speaking a little bit more about him. But feel free to jump in. It's gonna be 4 p.m. Central Time. So that's 2 p.m. on the West Coast and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Off that note, guys, I'm out. You have a good one. Peace.